After my third day of napping, munching on pizza, and playing the guitar all day, I got this weird phone call. It turns out I actually have a job, and they expect me to go like every day or something. Beat, right?
One vodka martini and I lose feeling in the left side of my face. This man, he can down five and then immediately navigate a wheat thresher through crate and barrel without breaking a glass.
Imagine it's tax day and we're rolling a giant one down the hill to City Hall. I mean, I know we're gathering no moss here, but who's going to pay for my hernia operation?
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.
Episode 33 coming to you from Ice Station Zebra.
Oh, it has been just,
Got a high of 1 this week, I think.
it's like the snow. It's not typical. In Baltimore, usually if it snows, if you wait 2 days,
Yeah.
you don't even have to dig out your car. Not so this year. It has been
It's like we moved to
absolutely
it's like we moved to northern Canada or something this year is what it feels like.
all the faucets dripping all the time, or we're in danger of not having water in the house.
It's a ton of snow that will not melt because it never gets warm enough. So the city of Baltimore is having a real hard time of what to do with it
Uh,
because it hasn't been able to clear all the roads. It's just been rough. Every morning commute is like a battle zone. Yeah.
and they've even had a lot of, in addition to keeping pipes not freezing here, water main breaks. We had water gushing down our street last Sunday.
It's nice. Our street was like
Yeah.
a skating rink very soon. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, good times. Anyway, so I'm sitting at my desk at work the other day, and you know how you get those random screensavers, and they're always like, here's a place you'll never be able to afford to visit, right? It's always like that, right?
Anyway, turned out it was the village of Thyra on the Greek island of Santorini.
I'll put a picture up of it. Yeah.
This gorgeous town of whitewashed buildings built on volcanic rock. North of the village is this huge gated mansion connected by this winding white road. Just offensively beautiful.
I normally don't get pulled in by the screensaver images, but this one was really interesting. So I Googled it and I clicked on one of the first links, and immediately I got a pop-up, book a trip.
It made me wonder how many people are currently on a life altering vacation because they accidentally clicked a pretty picture while goofing off during a meeting at work. Like, well, Carol, it all started when my laptop went idle.
Next thing I knew, I was in the Cayman Islands, right? Anyway, I chuckled at the notion of book a trip. And were I not in the middle of upgrading the flat screens on my Learjet, I might have considered it. I mean, folks, I didn't realize that when I made the move to charcoal gray upholstery in the lounge, it was going to make the bar look so much less inviting. I mean, I try to go for Tony Stark here, not G.W. Bush. People, come on.
At any rate, maybe it's because all his movies were on Netflix this month, but the first thing I thought of, seeing that house on the top of the hill, got me thinking that's obviously where James Bond arch nemesis lives. We've seen quite a few Bond movies and even read some of the books, so let's just say we've noticed a pattern or two.
I'll start off with an obvious one. What's up with all the rough sex? Every episode, he's got to pin some starlet to the wall, like he's frisking a perp, tugging down the throat, bow ties flying off, cufflinks. Pew. I mean, come on, people. We don't fuck like that.
I would love to hear one of his nymphs go, "Oh, that's my ear."
Asshole. Yeah, totally.
So, yes, we're very aggressive in the bedroom, but not so much when we're meeting with the bad guy, who is usually a white dude in a black turtleneck stroking a judgmental cat. His main gig is monopolizing the Nigerian water supply or something like that.
You see, Bond's first step is to give them a fake name, which never works because apparently MI6 has the worst secret keeping of any government agency in the world. And Tsar Socrates Drachenblut absolutely knows that his name is not James Binder. He might as well leave an alias of Harpo Marx while he's at it. In any case, we don't see the rough side of Bond in this environment. With the arch-villain, we need to pin wits, a golf game, poker tournament, tennis match, a sort of chess match that shows how clever and enormously well-bred Bond is. Here's one I always wanted, a spelling bee. When it's over and Bond wins, he swirls his brandy and just says, "Don't feel bad, Laurent, But the irony isn't lost on me that apropos is a French word.
The Miss Money Penny bit never seems to change. Here is a woman with a rare talent for reaching out to Bond only when he's mid-shag,
Hmm.
like she's a sexual smoke detector. The bit never got old, apparently, because they still have her in the newest films. Bond answers the phone in bed with some starlet. Moneypenny says, James, I've been trying to get a hold of you all day. Then he says something cute like, I was exposing a cover up. To which the little vixen has to say something like, You mean you were removing my bathing suit top? Which Miss Moneypenny hears and remarks, Your cover up sounds interesting, James.
It's the same shtick every time. So she tells him that a bomb's going to go off somewhere. And the little minx says something very predictable like, well, it was going to go off before you interrupted us. And then Bond ends the conversation by telling Moneypenny he'll be there in 10 minutes, hangs up, and then goes, let's make it 20. I mean, same every time. The silver Aston Martin car is nothing if not impressive. I always wondered if he didn't ask the Q team something like this. Yes, the machine gun highlights, or should I do it in a Bond voice? Yes, the machine gun highlights and ejector seat both come in handy, but how about a cup holder? I mean, one click and it converts to a submarine, which is surprisingly difficult to navigate when I spill coffee all over my crotch.
Seems like he's far less gadgety now. It used to be there wasn't a problem. A laser lapel pin or an exploding wristwatch couldn't get you out of. But times change. Maybe when the DoorDash guy ends up being a Japanese hitman, he could just Venmo him to death. Thanks for the service, friend. For your tip, how's the decapitation sound?
Yes, here's your change, sir.
The man can handle his alcohol. One vodka martini, and I lose feeling in the left side of my face. This man, he can down 5 and then immediately navigate a wheat thresher through crate and barrel without breaking a glass. Is this the whole secret of shaken, not stirred?
Anyone can kill, but it takes a special gentleman to do it with just the right one-liner. I mean, not every finishing school graduate can rack up a body count. Do you ever wonder what he did to get from 006 to 007? My guess would be that he learned how to drown a man in a public toilet 1 minute and then choose the best beluga caviar the next. One more thing on the Aston Martin, right? Remember the show Mythbusters? They were going to do a Bond version. They did do a Bond version, and they wanted to get an Aston Martin that they could use and like put the machine guns on and stuff, right? Just to get the shell, no engine, no wheels, no nothing, was over
Oh my
$100,000.
God.
I mean, that's how expensive that car is. Anyway, let's talk about our feature interview.
Our feature interview this week is with Kari Kankanappa, vocalist for the Finnish death metal band Sepulchral Curse. We have a great chat with Kari, who answers all of our burning, itching, swelling questions about this amazing band and the album Crimson Moon Evocations, which was one of our top 5 albums of 2025.
True story. And we get into the history of the band, how they managed to weather some pretty significant lineup changes. We get into a merry round of blaspheming monikers and a lot more. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, let's hear a little Sepulchral Curse. This is Empress of the Dead. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get a vintage steamroller, surprisingly low on fuel, full of Mark and Stace.
Yep, I'll have to put up another one of my viral cooking demonstrations.
The Gary Holt autobiography is done, and I will be uploading the video for that, the book review for that this week. And I'm halfway through this one. Marty Friedman's Dreaming Japanese. It's one of the reasons why this show is so late because I can't stop reading it. Like I keep being like, oh well, the computer's booting up. I'll read for 5 minutes, and I end up being 25 minutes because it's got Jason Becker in it, the rise and fall of Jason Becker, you could say, the Rust in Peace era. what's like working for a band where everything could fall apart at any minute because the lead singer is an addict. Risk, the Risk album, and subsequent leaving of Megadeth, plus the solo stuff. So anyway, all that's coming up on Patreon. So get over there now, or you'll miss it. And speaking of things that you probably would like to miss, I think it's time. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay, I better learn something today. Ding dang it.
Might learn a little bit. I don't know.
Okay, let's go.
Number 1, pygmy sperm whales have an unusual trick to throw potential attackers off guard. What do they do? A. Release a reddish-brown cloud of intestinal fluid to ink up the water. B. Emit a low scream that hurts predators' eardrums. C. Produce a bad odor from their salivary glands so it smells like they are dead. D. Are able to change to the color of sand and camouflage like a chameleon.
I want to know who's hunting specifically pygmy sperm whales. That's what I want to know.
They're a tasty treat for some predators.
I guess. These all sound like they could be right. I'll take the C. Bad odor, salivary gland, smells dead.
It's actually A. They release this stuff out of their intestines, and it's like this reddish brown, kind of like an octopus
I was gonna
growing.
say,
Yeah.
Isn't that what octopus is?
Yeah,
Okay,
kind of like that, but it's nasty intestinal fluid. It also really doesn't smell
We
good.
started off with some great marine life trivia here, so let's keep going.
2, we're throwing it all the way back to 1665.
Okay, it was
The-
a great year.
It was not a great year. That was the year of the plague.
Okay.
The Derbyshire village of M, who were the original OG of social distancing and quarantine during the London plague. How did the virus arrive in their town? They tried to keep it out because they were.
What started the plague?
No, the plague was already in London. This was like a suburb of London
Okay,
that
got it.
was already saying no one comes into the town,
Okay, right.
social distancing. They tried to keep it from happening, but the virus got in anyway. So, how did the virus arrive in their town? A. When King Charles II fled there to get out of the city and accidentally had a stowaway rat in his carriage. B. When a tailor, Alexander Hadfield, received a bundle of damp cloth from London. C. From 4 plague victims' bodies that were dumped near the village. Or D. When Sarah Childs was sent there to visit her grandmother and inadvertently brought contaminated water.
A little something extra. Um, it's weird, so I'm gonna pick B. When a tailor, Alexander Haddonfield, received a bundle of damp cloth from London.
You are correct. He was a tailor. He got fabric that was wet, so he put it near the hearth to dry, and it hatched all these flea eggs that
cool.
were in it, which were the actual carriers of the
Wow.
plague. He was the first one to die, him and his assistant. That's how they figured out. That's where it got in.
That is nasty. Ugh. Okay, I actually got one. Yay.
Yeah.
All right, number 3.
In the late 1800s, some Victorian scientists and physicians promoted a now discredited health device meant to boost circulation, treat nervous disorders, and generally restore vitality. What was it? A. Super tight compression wraps made from sheep wool. B. An at-home do-it-yourself electroshock therapy kit. C. Electric belts worn around the torso that delivered mild shocks. Or D. Clockwork helmets designed to stimulate the brain through gentle tapping.
I love clockwork helmets. I love that. But I'm not gonna guess that. That does look something I would come up with. I'm gonna say B. A do-it-yourself electroshock therapy kit.
Close. It's actually C. It
Ah.
was electric belts that were supposed to be worn that delivered mild shocks. Oddly enough, these were people were so mad that it didn't work and it was proven that it did nothing. It was the first slew of lawsuits against a manufacturer for false claims. So that was the originator of all those, malpractice for the potions.
Now I got to get a regular belt. God damn it. Okay. All right, let's wrap it up.
Number 4, the US military seriously developed and tested a plan to attach small incendiary bombs to what during World War II to bomb Japanese villages known as Project X-Ray? A. Small radio-controlled cars that were long range. B. Small retired lab rats who could run a maze. C. Mexican free-tailed bats. Or D. Pallets of fortune cookies with bombs the size of fortunes.
I'll say B, small retired rats.
Close. It was C. Mexican-tailed free bats. They actually would use a surgical clip and clip little bombs to them. So they tested it out, and the bats did fly with the bombs, and it did work, but they had trouble controlling them. They actually bombed and accidentally incinerated an entire hangar and the commander's car. So it was scrapped for a project.
Something out of Hogan's Heroes
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, they thought it was, and it was like a dentist or something who came up with this plot.
Oh,
Anyway, they ended up scrapping it and going with the Manhattan Project, and we all know how that went.
oh my gosh. Well, there you go. 1 for 4. Oh well.
That's I mean, where the term batty comes from, for God's sake.
From bat bombs to pygmy whales, we cover everything. Okay. All right, it's time for our Snaggletooth. And this one's called
1 for you, 19 for me. Death has been looming over humanity since we figured out fire. Taxes showed up right after we figured out farming. The moment humans started growing crops, somebody else showed up and was like, nice, wheat, give me some and I'll let you live here.
Formal taxation began in early agricultural societies. Cereal grains were easy to count, store, and even steal politely. That was the first taxable income. In a lot of ways, you could say the tax collectors went against the grain.
Taxes are so old, they actually predate money. Before coins, governments were like, pay us with, well, whatever you have a bunch of. Lumber, fish, slabs of granite, nothing was off the table. Even the table itself could be a form of payment, it seems.
In ancient Mesopotamia, this led to some truly unhinged payment options. For example, the tax for burying a body in a grave was 7 kegs of beer, 420 loaves of bread, 2 bushels of barley, a wool cloak, a goat, and a bed.
At that point, you're not paying taxes as much as you're furnishing the afterparty for the funeral director. I'm starting to see where a partridge in a pear tree gets its start. That was probably a late fee. 5 golden rings were reportedly required for cremation services.
If you think income taxes are bad now, think again. Around 3000 BC, Egyptian pharaohs conducted annual tours called the Shemsu Hor to assess livestock and grain harvests. Imagine a parade of Egyptian IRS auditors wandering around through the pyramids dressed like Cher.
They typically took a 20% cut. Imagine someone taking 20% of a sheep. What end do you get? Is this where the concept of head or tails comes from? Before money, people paid taxes with whatever they had lying around. Historical records include tax payments of over 18,000 brooms. How many were left after tax? Did this inspire the invention of the dustbuster in some way?
And did they have tax accountants back then? That's my question. Was it like 18,000 brooms? That's way too much. No, you got to call Shlomo Friedman. He'll negotiate your tax payment. The guy's a mensch. Some customers bristle at his methods, but he's very effective. Other payments included huge logs and even heavy millstones. Imagine it's tax day and we're rolling a giant one down the hill to City Hall. I mean, I know we're gathering no moss here, but who's going to pay for my honey operation?
Fast forward to America. Many of the founding fathers had day jobs, and in Samuel Adams' case, he was a tax collector. We find that notion ironic because he's originally famous for one thing: hating taxes. This is the man who helped coin the rallying cry, no taxation without representation. So naturally, back in 1756, Boston looked at him and said, great, let's make that guy the tax man. I guess it all made sense to somebody.
Of course, Adams collected taxes like Donny Osmond did open heart surgery. He was ridiculously lenient, delayed collections, and kept records so bad they made backs of napkins look like the Warren Report. Another curiosity about Sam Adams, beyond his protests and boycotts he supported, he actually participated in the original Boston Tea Party back in 1773, tossing an entire shipment of tea into the harbor. So let's see how he does as a tax collector, said someone somewhere during a truly historic moment of horrible decision making.
Look, folks, nobody said everything in the history books made sense. Coming next week, Benito Mussolini washes out of the Sicilian Fire Department.
Okay, I can't take any more. Let's play a song. This is House of the Black Moon. Okay, let's talk about Home Chef.
We're back on the Home Chef bandwagon. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Along with giving us a percentage off for our first couple orders, we now get a free item for life. So this week I picked a cookie skillet. It comes with a little pan. You put this in the oven, and then my husband has a yummy treat later on.
Madness.
You know, these actually sell in Imperfect. The cookie skillets for like $7.95. I kid you not.
Interesting.
But you get your free item for life.
I have a feeling I'm going to get surprised at that later when I'm rapidly editing the show.
Today, as you can tell by the sauce on this card, I made this today. I'm a very messy cook. I'm a good cook, but I'm a very messy
This
cook.
was great.
Chicken marsala. We actually used to have this as a special at the restaurant where I worked for years. Everybody went nuts over it. He went nuts over it today.
I loved it, yeah.
And it was super easy. They had everything included, including green beans, the garlic, which I used in my vampire garlic smasher.
Oh, yeah.
Really, it wasn't hard at all. I threw in a little extra chicken from Imperfect for those of you playing along with him.
Okay. Great, man.
Then they've also partnered with Chef Gordon Ramsay, you know, his crazy ass. This is a stunning Mediterranean shrimp and couscous. So they partnered with him and they get his recipes. I can't wait to try this one. This looks amazing as well. And you can even leave a review. This says expert level. I can do it.
Okay.
By the way, when you pick your things, if you're scared, you can pick the ones that this one says easy. But I'm not afraid.
I have to check the recipe to make toast. So that's where I'm at.
This is a spicy chili citrus mahi tacos.
Nice.
So you get all your step-by-step instructions on the back, complete with pictures. They make it easy for you. This one even says it's easy. Look at that.
They're also online.
Yes.
In case you lose this.
They're also
whatever.
online, or of course, if you need another app for your phone.
Yeah.
Herb
Chef has it, right?
Yeah, you can also check them. Everything you order gets put in your cookbook.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've also actually used it to go back and make another recipe that I liked using my own ingredients. If I didn't have a home chef and felt like making it. So they're always forever there. And don't forget about your free for life item. So get over to Home Chef now. If you could hear this crinkling, I could do
You're not going to hear it.
the influencer.
Zoom's not going to let you. Maybe I'll pipe it in. I don't know. Okay, it's time for Bombastic Plastic.
Bombastic.
All right, this week, I couldn't contain my love for the band Civerous, so I decided that I would take dander at Decrepit Flesh Relic vinyl from 2021. That logo, makes me swoon. Anyway, two guitar extreme metal band that is impervious to classification, apparently. Metal Archive says black/death/doom metal. Why not throw salsa in there while we're at it, Metal Archives? Obviously, they don't know. Okay, they weren't from someplace cool, which is interesting because someplace cool in the realm of extreme metal is different than anywhere else. We want the band to be from Finland or some dwarf in Belgium, not Los Angeles like these guys, but hey, that's where they're from. They're probably responsible single-handedly for doom death becoming my favorite genre. But it's got to have that heavy I hate God dystopia influence in there, and these guys are all over that. You know the type where the chord changes happen once every leap year if you're lucky, and the drums might just explode in ludicrous fits of speed at any given moment without any warning whatsoever. They've got the vocalist with that cup mic roar that hits you in the chest with an effect that's more rhythmic than musical. The rhythm guitar tone on this thing is very much like some kind of power tool. It gives me the feeling that if I blast Civerous loud enough at a wall, I'll cut a hole in the drywall or something. Interestingly, as the disc plays out, each track gets progressively longer. The intro, Eidolon, is only like 2 minutes. By the time we get to Spiral of Eyes, the closer, we're over 11 minutes to do our business.
I mean, I don't know anything about Transylvania Records, do I? Except for the fact they have a new Scrush release.
Yep.
Come to think of it, I'm a little surprised we haven't covered Failing Early, Failing Often on the show, or better, they're split with Corrupted, but I digress.
I think about that all the time, and then I always forget. So the CD's like right there. I grab it. Anyway.
At any rate, this is how you issue a debut full length, from the colored vinyl to the poster so big it's a challenge to find a frame for it, to the inserts, etc. I mean, I make jokes about the format like, it's not the weight and storage challenges of vinyl that appeals to me. It's the sheer impracticality of it. But this one really is a thing of beauty, and you guys can still get it pretty cheap from the Transylvanian Bandcamp page. I think they're hawking a clear vinyl issue nowadays, which is every bit as stunning. Let's hear a little. Let's play a clip. This is From the Crypts to the Cavern.
Rock, it's a ting of beauty. In terms of standout tracks, I'll focus on one for now, the aforementioned closer, Spiral of Eyes, which blasts out of the gates with plenty of double bass pumps from, well, actually, no drummer is listed at all, which is a curiosity. I assume it's their current drummer, and his name is Aidan Neuner, but he's not listed. And it's interesting. We had Drew Horton, the bass player and vocalist. He's listed here as Naraka. We had him on the show, and that would have been a really good question to ask him. How come you don't list a drummer on Decrepit Flesh Relic? But I don't think we did. Or maybe we did, and I just can't remember. So I'll post a link to the interview in the show notes. We talked about Maze Envy a lot, I remember. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
At any rate, the dueling buzzsaw tones of guitarist Daniel Salinas and Alonso Santana rip and tear from the very first moment, cycling through slower, and slowest moments that occasionally erupt in fits of blasting percussion. Of course, this only goes on for 7 full minutes before the band sidesteps into a cosmic wormhole. Everything gives way to jangly clean guitar segment that is eventually frosted with what sounds like a violin weeping. It's achingly beautiful, and another example of a band that's full of surprises. There's more to these guys than their awesome Hot Topic worthy logo, people. There's nobody better at this genre at this point, except maybe for Spectral Voice. So get in on this one ASAP and check our interview with Drew from last year. Link is in the notes below. Let's play a clip. This is Spiral of Eyes.
I will say, all of my life I wanted this logo on a t-shirt, and then I got it, and then somebody got a gold version and outdid me. Won't name any names, but they're
to be fair,
next to me.
To be fair, there was only one left and it was small, and the guy had to scale the wall to get it to me, so he got tipped for that.
Yeah, what I got, she got a gold one of. Wow.
And by the way, them at MDF, I thought Lord Fowl was going to just rip out into the audience and start ripping out intestines. He's very weird.
They crushed it. It was great. So anyway, let's hear a little Spiral of Eyes. Okay, why don't you see interview?
This is our interview with Kari. I was really quite interested to talk with him. We obviously loved it. Top 5 of 2025, and it is a very well-deserved place. I can see this band is going places, and in fact, I think they're already kind of there.
Yeah, it's a great interview. Um, and we're making a point to try to get more bands that non-US bands on the show, just because it's very interesting to talk to them. Anyway, take it away.
So we were really excited about this, well, all your albums, but this one really knocked it out of the park.
Mm.
Really definitely hit our top 10 for this year.
It was almost number one.
Yeah.
It was almost my top pick. Yeah, because
That's
but
really
this
cool.
year was this year was kind of like the year of like Doom, Death, and Sludge. That was the only thing that edged it out. But in terms of just quality death metal, this was definitely at least my favorite album of 2025. It was fantastic. Yeah. So
I agree. I don't think there was. I'm really pretty similar, probably like you guys, but I'm really obsessed in listening to new music. I always check every week, like what new records come, and I don't think there was that much, like really killer death metal albums. Like not too many. I think
Yeah.
this was more about. I think like more like traditional metal and stuff like that. I think that was like more. That wasn't on. I mean, last year, but yeah, it's really cool to hear. Like our little album kind of got a lot of recognition, mostly because like now we got Dark Descent behind us, so that was like really pushed us forward. But it was cool to be like it's also good to be like release an album like on this kind of year. Like if there's like new Crypts or Corpses or whatever, then you know like there's gonna be a really tight competition with really kick-ass albums. So it was in that sense it was a relief for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you remember how you arrived at the name? It almost seems to me like it could be either a curse to put to guard a grave against tomb robbers or kind of a straight up cursed vibe entirely.
I think the origin, I always remember that it was our old drummer who came up with the name Sepulchral Curse, but that was actually our guitarist Jaakko, with whom we formed the band back in 2013, and it was the original idea was just to find a name for the band that was not like cliche or often used, and it was just like, okay, what is like a really cool combination of words. We had some other ideas, but they didn't just kind of feel like it. 'Cause I think this has like kind of this kind of certain kind of almost like spell kind of vibe with the word curse, and I don't think there was that much bigger idea behind it, but then the name started to grow a bit with the between like inside the band, and if you've seen the symbol we have with the coffin and the snake and the stuff, that's kind of like that kind of evolved into the idea of what the name is. It kind of started growing its own life, and like the snake adder, it's like a symbol of magic in Finnish mythology. So like the snake for the curse, and the coffin is for sepulchral. So it kind of grew into this symbol, and it was like after we had the name, so it was a bit backwards in that sense. But it's really hard word. I guess it could be easier word than sepulchral, because it seems like no one in Finland can ever pronounce it. So, and even we have had some interviews abroad where people are like having hard time. So maybe it could be easier, but then again, it's good that it's like really complicated, because people will remember it. It's that band with really fucking weird name or hard name or something. So it's we kind of won in that sense too.
Yeah, it kind of channels to me like all the when they got into King Tut's tomb and everybody started dying that had anything to do with it. Or we even ran into a story about people who take things from Pompeii. Like bad things started happening to the point they mailed whatever the hell rock they took back just to get rid of the curse.
And I almost made the joke when I was writing your review, but I liked the album too much, so I didn't. I was going to say, well, the real Sepulchral curse was the day the Cavaleras left. I mean, that was because it was never the same.
Yeah, I think for many people, they're like, oh, it's that
Yeah.
Sepultura curse.
Yeah, exactly, right. Yeah. Even they're kicking themselves now, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Mm.
So within the band now, is there a set leader, somebody who keeps things light, or a member who likes to stir the pot? Is there different personalities or
I guess any band that wants to, progress or has goals or wants to kind of always move forward, you always need to have kind of like the manager guy, so to say, like someone who, like you put it, like, you know, put, kicks it forward, or so to
Yeah.
say. And it has always been kind of, whenever I've been a band, it's often my, I would not say my burden, but because I take it very happily and I like to be like, if I'm involved in a band, I want to give my everything to it. So I'm always like pushing things and, okay, let's do this and this and this, and let's play gig there or whatnot. So it's definitely, I'm guilty person for being there to push the band forward, but it's kind of one of those things, like certain kind of outgoing nature. It comes to you naturally, or it doesn't come to you at all. Like, you can't really push a person to be more social than one can be naturally. So, but it's always been a kind of my quality. In the beginning, I think it kind of, this manager attitude to me came from the fact that I don't play an instrument. Well, I started my career playing bass, but I'm really, really shit at it. So I dropped it right away and started playing only singing. So it was kind of like to put up the fact that I didn't play anything. So I was like, okay, I need to take this, I need to make things happen. But when on the first bands where I ever played, like no one else, knew what to do or had any idea or what, at all. So I kind of needed to learn all that. And so it was kind of me. Uh, I'm not, responsible for all of the things that happen in the band. We are lucky in the sense that we have our bassist Nilas is really, really good and talented artist. So he does all the visuals for us. Like like in the booklets of our albums, there is a lot of more artwork in there, and all the pictures we have, and some posters for gigs. He also does all of that. Then we have our drummer Johannes, who takes care of like certain kind of business, annoying, lame things, but he's really good at that. So he kind of keeps tab on those. And merch, that's what I always do. You can actually see here is our my garage, which is full of our merch, and here I
Okay.
always pack everything and send it all around. But when it comes to actual composing songs, then it's our guitarist Jaakko and Alexi. They are the guys who write everything, or compose, and then together we kind of hammer the songs together. But it's very demography in a sense, and everyone does something in the band, but it's definitely me who kind of like, hey dude, now we do this, and now we go do this, and studio will be then. And so it's definitely me.
Yeah. Well, from a merch perspective, it looked like the albums have done really well. I mean, it looks like all of the physical copies have sold out, at least according to Bandcamp,
Yeah, I think I talked with Matt some time ago, and I think the vinyl is pretty much sold out almost, not completely, but pretty close. So I'm hoping for a repress at some point, because
Yeah, yeah.
we are starting to run a bit low. So
Cool, cool. Yeah.
never a bad problem to have?
No, no, that's always a good
no,
thing. Yeah.
no, it's always a positive problem.
It's better than having boxes and boxes of unsold merch, right? You
Yeah.
don't want that. No one wants that. Yeah.
I
Um,
actually, I actually just yesterday, my old band Solotooth, where I used to sing, I have all the merch from that band, and I just yesterday packed everything, because kind of not. I haven't been asked to sell it anywhere, so now I have
Yeah.
put 2 huge boxes of merch and vinyls and CDs from that, and I was like, what am I gonna do with all this?
Yeah, there's an online app now where they auction off all kinds of crazy stuff, and I always look at the vinyl on there, and there's like a guy on there every day, like, and just you can look through what they have, but sometimes you just gotta watch and put it up there. I think I've accidentally bought 2 Frank Zappa albums that way so
Yeah,
far.
it's true. Yeah, she didn't even know she bought them. So
So it's
today, Hot Rats
so you
came.
could always do
It's
that.
just like, well, at least you picked a good one, So to accidentally buy. Yeah.
So how did you guys get together with Dark Descent Records out of Chicago, and does that kind of help you stay better in touch with your American fan base?
Yeah, definitely. So I don't think they are Chicago. They are from. Is it well? Is it Denver?
Is it Denver?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not sure. Somewhere where there's mountains and stuff. But basically, me and Matt, we met at Killtown Death Fest, I think 2014 or something. Like he was there and I was there and we were drinking beer and we kind of met back then and got to know each other and we semi stayed in touch through wonders of Facebook ever after. And there, I always was kind of busy with my with other bands with some other labels, and there was just never a right time to kind of put our stupid heads together. But in after we had released Abhorrent Dimensions, our second album, our contract with Transcending Obscurity was fulfilled, and we definitely wanted to kind of step up. And it was the old-fashioned way. I sent email to Matt, and hey, how about you signing our kick-ass band? And he was actually right away. He was like, yeah, let's do this. And it was it was exactly the way that everyone thinks it never goes. You send an email and you get signed.
Sometimes it's something to be said for just asking, right?
Yeah. Well, I always believe like you get nothing from the world. If you want something, you need to go and take it.
Yeah.
So I know you were talking about like when your old drummer and songwriter Tommy had left, but I think since he left, you guys have done nothing but grow and get better. Has You've kind of started to incorporate a little bit of doom death as well as still hitting the gas pedal. So the songwriting direction, who kind of guides that, or is it everyone?
It's kind of funny. Like in the beginning, it was Jaakko who was writing songs. Me and Jaakko are the guys who put the band together way back, and he kind of wrote the first EP and then some music for the second EP, and then we got another guitarist, Alexi, right after the first EP was released. And he also started to write music, but also Tommy. So we have had 3 composers all this time. The debut album was mostly Tommy's music, but there is also like Alexis music. But after that, it's pretty much almost only like music by Alexi and Jaakko only. There is on Deathbed Sessions EP. There is 1 song from Tommy, but after that it's just Jaakko and Alexi, and I think that's the weird thing about it. Like of course when I'm in the band I can clearly tell what song is made by whom, because to me they sound written by the certain person, but for outside people sometimes they're surprised that there is actually 2 composers, because like nowadays, because they can they sound they have this same kind how would you say it? Like they are kind of card from the same tree. Like you can tell it's us, but still there is a variety of different kind of influences for both guitarists. So our songs are not like co-composed. Like 1 song is from Alexi and 1 is from Jaakko, like completely, and then they bring them together, and they're pretty like 90% ready, I would say. So it's kind of like just started to grow that way. The initial idea when we formed the band, it was to play like me and Jaakko were not playing like like old school death metal. We were like, we want to play something like Dismember or Non-Slaughter, like something very simple stuff, and like just do it because he was actually singing in a thrash metal band and playing guitar in a power metal band, and I was like singing in solo to Death Doom. So we wanted to do something like fast death metal or something. And he's a death metal guy, but he just didn't have a death metal band. So that was the initial, but then it started like I think it's like Tommy is a really black metal guy kind of guy, so he kind of started bringing this black metal into the sound, and then our compositions became more well, maybe ambitious or progressive, how you would want to say, and then we knew like, okay, we need a second guitarist right away, and then kind of all of these guys started to compose music, and it started to have this more, to my ear, a more black metal sound, I would say. And it's kind of just started like kind of rolling from there. I always wanted to sing in a very, very traditional death metal. I always wanted like a band like that, but I didn't have it in Solotus. And now Sepulchral Curse also went into more melodic or whatever you want to call. So I've never been into like very traditional death metal band in my life, and I guess I never will be. But that's kind of how it went, and it's been very natural progression, because when I listen to like Abhorrent Dimensions and Crimson Moon Evocations, they sound very similar to me, but I can still hear a lot of growth even in those. And I think Abhorrent Dimensions was pretty much the album like that was the kind of sound I think Sepulchral Curse was destined to make. So that was like it has to be like a lot of kind of stuff. We don't like want to kind of like do the same kind of songs all the time. We want it to be like the backbone needs to be death metal. It even comes because of my singing voice, but we also like to have like these different kind of vibes. Like you said, a doomier stuff, and then there might be something trashy. Although of course a lot of melodies too. So uh, it's kind of like there's a lot of influences, but then it's kind of squished into a smaller, form that is more impact and sounds like us. And maybe sometimes Jaakko has a song he has written, and we listen to it. Well, it's a good song, but it doesn't sound at all like Sepulchral Curse. So I don't know. All of the members in the band kind of have a vision together what we sound like, and it has surprisingly all the time went into that direction. Like we already have some new songs for our fourth album, which we haven't rehearsed, but there is like songs ready for that, and even they kind of sound like the same progression we have been doing all the time. So I don't know. There has not been a clear vision, I would say, except we want to play death metal, but still it's kind of like evolving into various different forms and directions, and it sounds like us, but it's hard to say like, is this like we sit down and we write, okay, what do we want to sound like? Okay, this kind of stuff and this kind of stuff, but it's never been like that. It's just like Jaakko and Alexi have kind of grown as composers, and that's like, here we are today.
Yeah.
I guess after a while, you kind of start to rub off on each other. Like we write like comedy bits for the show, and we do it like in a Google Doc so he can look at it later or kind of adjust things. And he'll like look at something I've written and say, that sounds like something I would have written. So I think that kind of happens
Yeah.
after a while, that
Corrupted her
Yeah.
brain.
start
Yeah.
to rub off on each other. But I love the fact that you guys can go through atmospheric changes without going all opus and doing like a clean guitar segment, or
Yeah.
it's really well done the way that you move through things without getting, throwing a saxophone in or
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your voice. Your voice reminds me of Matt Harvey from Exhumed a little bit in the tone. And I was curious, what are some of the bands that you've been compared to, and do you agree or disagree with like what some of the comparisons you've gotten from people?
I think that it's not often that I actually get like comparison to like different vocalists, because it's usually like Oh, it's like death metal vocals. It's like it's either low and gurgling or more
Yeah,
higher
yeah.
or screaming. There is not often like how you would say like certain like hey you actually sound like this person. Like I think I'm most happy. I've always been like many people have always well not always but often said that I do have a personal voice, which is in my opinion a bit surprising in death metal because everything has been done. But I think one of the most often I get this like Craig Pillard from Incantation. I think I get that a lot. And at some point, it was actually so that whenever I went to record anything in studio, I would listen to Onward to Golgotha as like, this is what perfect death metal vocals sound like. So, this is perfection. Do your own thing, but this is the perfection. Uh, and that's always been like one of my favorite styles. I always preferred the that kind of uh, way of singing, but the very first bands that I like rehearsed back at my parents' place, rehearsed growling. They were like Paul Core from November's Doom. He was definitely one of my like top influences back then. And then there was Michael Stunne of Dark Tranquility. He was also like one. I don't think I sound like anything like either one of those. Um, Paul from November's Doom, he's way too articulate, and I am nothing like it. I don't like it. I don't. I like the instrument to be like a kind of. I mean, vocals to be more like instrument, like kind of like there, make that certain kind of mass. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think I've gotten that many direct comparisons. Often when you read and review, it's like the music sounds like what you always get. Like music sounds like, well, it's a joke, but music sounds like convuls from Finland. And then there's growls, they are deep. And then, they kind of go like that. It's never like quite specific, and I don't mind it, but it's always nice because I might go back, check them out. Like, well, do I sound like them? And of course, nowadays there's so many really good growlers all around the world. So it's cool. It always warms my heart to get some sort of recognition because there is so much mass in vocalists, like how you can sound different or anything. So it's always cool to hear. But no, I haven't gotten that many different. No, actually, one thing I have gotten. Sorry, I forgot. It's Chris Barnes on the older albums. I have one friend in Finland who always says I sound like him, and well, I'm lucky. It's like the older days and not the newer days.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to somebody about Cannibal Corpse the other day about how consistent they've been and how and we saw them at MDF a couple years ago, and so many bands they worry about the costume, the look, the stage setup. They didn't even have their logo that didn't even fit on the screen behind them. It was like Annibal Orps, right? And they didn't give a shit. They just destroyed. And I thought that's when it doesn't matter. That's when you're just like, we're here. If you don't know who we are, then what are you doing here?
Yeah. And that's the attitude I think, because like when you're playing live, touring, shit happens, You
Yeah.
might not have a backdrop, or there might be this or that, an instrument might, die out or something. Like that's music. That's live. That's happens. Move forward. And that's
Right,
the kind of
right.
respect I think that bands should have. Like Cannibal Corpse seems to be always like, very practical. Like, okay, let's go and kill.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah.
So I do love the idea of the blood moon. We're going to have one March 6th, by the way,
Oh,
in
nice.
case you want to celebrate that one.
Okay, cool.
The little eclipse business, but I always like how you tie it in with restless spirits and omens and signature predators like vampires get extra. Are there any Finnish tales that kind of like with that underworld thing that you had in mind when you were writing this album?
I don't, not really from Finnish mythology, I wouldn't say. Um, our old drummer, who he wrote the lyrics for our second EP and the debut album, and he is how would I say, he's very aware of different mythologies and very into Finnish mythology and Norse mythology, and he has his own way of interpreting the world around us, and he's one of the best lyricists I have ever met, and he kind of started growing this certain kind of world, in my own opinion, in our lyrics, but I could never like follow him. I always wanted that the songs need to be like from me and the influences need to be from me. So I kind of would have wanted maybe for the songs to have kind of more that kind of a touch into mythology, or what you ever want to call it. But for me, majority of the songs nowadays are written by me. Abhorrent Dimensions and Crimson Moon Evocations are both lyrics, almost completely written by me. But for me, it's when I write lyrics, I guess it's not a surprise to anyone, but I'm huge fantasy geek. It's I grew up with that stuff, and I always loved the imagery in fantasy literature or whatever. So that's kind of like when I come up with an idea, it can be anything. Probably most often it's something from our normal life, and then it kind of grows in my mind, and I always wanted to use kind of fantasy or more poetic way of describing it. So it's not very. Oh, I never like to metal that is like of this world. I always like something like beyond our world. So that's kind of where I always start to write. There might be some certain aspects, maybe. I know there are some local tales that are interesting, but I have not yet gotten into that. It's certain kind of back catalog that I want to use. Still use about my different interests and lyrical aspects that I have, but there are some interesting stories from around around the city where I kind of grew up in, and all kinds of there are some stories about some demons with blue and red eyes, locking priests into sauna and shit like that. So it could be cool to have like more local stories, but after Tommy left, I think the certain kind of a Finnish storytelling aspect has changed into more Dungeons and Dragons.
Fantasy. Okay. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
I did love Wildfires and how the instruments almost seem to like at times be like licking flames, and Wildfires is a strange thing because people hate it, of course, because it destroys so much. But then some people say we need it to kind of renew things, and it's kind of like volcanic ash where something new could
Well,
come.
we have that in the South, in the United States. Like I remember I was in Florida for business and I was driving wherever it was I was supposed to go, and everything was on fire around me. And the guy that was with me said, "Oh, it's controlled burn. We have to burn it because otherwise it'll go up
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
dryness," which is very interesting to me. Yeah.
It's a kind of horrific natural phenomenon when it's like not controlled, and I think
Yeah.
it's one of those songs that is Wildfires is a song about certain kind of hatred or bitterness that grows within us, and kind of like eats us from inside, and in a sense it's very cathartic, because then you will be renewed whenever you have been able to kind of settle your inner hatred. So in a
Yeah.
in a way, it's funny that you picked that one out, because it's the song that we start the gigs, because it's really really ferocious.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to the other extreme, you got Locust Scar, which seems to be going a little bit more biblical in our butts. But it's like, but the scar to me sounds like it was more than a plague. It left some kind of traumatic mark or impression behind. Um, was that kind of about like rejecting system beliefs or destroying power structures in modern day?
That's actually another really good example, and really cool that you picked it out, because I think it's my favorite song from the new album. And actually, the name Locust Scar, it's a song title and kind of the idea and theme that has been going on with me since high school. I often have these kind of like maybe a song title or something, and it's stuck in my brain, and I have this idea how it will be, but I haven't found the correct song where it fits, because it needs to be that certain kind of mood. And with my old band Solotus, there was also like a few songs that had been very long, many like 10 or 15 years, but there was never the correct one. And Locust Scar is also one of those, and it's a kind of sibling song for Wildfires, because it kind of has that. Yeah, it has certain kind of religious imaginary in it, but it's more like about kind of different way of seeing, like where Wildfires was more about the intense hatred. Uh, Locust Scar is more about like when you can't just let it go, and how it starts eating you up, and how you are left as only a husk of yourself. Like it starts to eat you inside, like no matter what you do, unless you can vent it out somehow or leave it be. So it's I always like the idea, because locusts, they come and devour everything, and there's nothing left behind. So somehow that was a really cool idea to me. So that's pretty much where the song kind of came together, or lyrics at least.
We get the cicadas every 17 years here. I actually thought the last time they came out, my son was in kindergarten. They were kind of cute, I thought, with their little red eyes. Although he scared the hell out of him. We had been out for a jog, and one of them must have hitched a ride on his shoulder, and he went in the bathroom, and this thing started taking off.
They're so loud, especially if you're in
My God.
you're in a closed room. It's like a helicopter taking off. It scared the crap out of me. Yeah.
And I guess they are really huge.
Yeah, and yeah, it's the weirdest thing, because like Stace said, they come every 17 years, and when they come out, they don't know how to fly or anything, so they're very awkward, and they it's the
Yeah.
strangest thing. It's like they're reborn every 17 years from scratch. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
I started naming them. I'm like,
It's the
oh,
weirdest
George.
thing. Yeah, and then they're all dead, and then they're just husks everywhere. Like they're only alive for what, like a month or
Yeah.
something. It's really weird. Yeah. So
So you have a nice graveyard of locusts back.
yeah, you walk and you crunch on them when you're walking. Yeah,
Starting
that's
to
how
name
many there
them.
are. Yeah. So
And make them pets. They had to quit on me.
well, I wanted to ask you about Empress of the Dead, because it feels like that might be a fully realized character, like when I was listening to it. So I was wondering, does the Empress have a backstory?
Was she involved with the Grim Reaper at some point? Is she his ex?
That it was a certain. There is the color red in the song that comes quite often, and I had this idea of it's certain kind of a long love song, I would say. Like it's the idea of a necromancer, or well, female necromancer. I don't know what she's called, necromanceress or something, but like how she controls like the undead, and they are like forced to serve and forced to wake up, but it would be more like this, not forced, but this like unnatural affection or love that would kind of like be the female version of the necromancer's kind of lure to wake some creatures or skeletons or whatnot up. But actually the idea of for a female version and color red, and that it's actually comes from my wife. She had red hair for a very long time and still kind of have. So it was kind of like there was a certain I kind of wanted to write a song about her, but I didn't want it to be like it can be like really, lame love song in that sense, but I had like this weird like kind of weird take on it, and it started to grow on me, and I started to like write around the like kind of like the obsession of the skeletal, towards the one who summons him back. So it kind of started to grow from there, and so I would say the inspiration is probably my wife. I guess
great.
I'm the helpless undead in this case.
Yeah, her
But like,
power really seems to come through song, dirges, lullabies, when she commands the dead. I felt like that was a deliberate parallel to kind of extreme or death metal there. That's kind of where the power is.
my wife is a really, really, really good singer, so that was exactly why I wanted to have a word that refers to singing.
Wow.
So
Okay,
you
cool.
you catch it really, really well.
Have you ever thought about her doing some female vocals over top or?
Um, I think it would be really cool to have her doing something. I know 18-year-old Kari would be horrified to me even thinking about clean vocals on death metal songs. So, but like, but I think we have been discussing it, maybe having something like that. And I would think it would be really cool to involve. Like the thing is that we don't want to be like stuck. We want to kind of grow all the time, and uh, I've been doing some clean singing lessons too, and like the first band I ever sang in, it was like clean vocals. So like it's also an option that I could do something. Also, a guitarist is really good singer too. So it's been kind of on the table that maybe we could do something, but the thing is that only thing that it can't be lame or that's the thing. Like it needs to actually fit the song and be around the song and not like glued on because then it sounds like lame.
Yeah.
So,
No,
but
great.
definitely it's been something that at least I've been thinking, and I've been talking with Jaakko that, hey, could it be like maybe some more dramatic ending to a song? So maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Like a flavor, like yeah.
Like
Yeah,
layered,
Yeah.
like
yeah,
over all the different, like
yeah,
lower registered layers and just kind of float one out
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
yeah.
That'd
Now
be
imagine
awesome.
us doing a duet together. Well, actually, we have this thing like when one of the bandmates has a wedding, we always have kind of like this surprise gig for them where we rehearse their favorite songs and we surprise and play them with a certain kind of a lineup. And
Cool.
our bassist he was married, and we actually had a duet with my wife. We sang Napalm Death's "You Suffer" together. So
Nice. All right. That's great.
That's the kind of wedding I want, the one with a mosh pit.
That's right. Exactly. That's what we want. Totally.
I kind of love the idea of the Crimson Moon kind of offering a transcendence at a very deep cost of pretty much of all life. It's a beautiful form of annihilation. So to have a more classic thought experiment, do you see the world more likely to end in fire or ice?
hmm, my first reaction would definitely be fire, but then again, after all the fire, there will be only ice. So who would be left alive would then kind of freeze to death. So maybe it begins with fire, comes ash, and ends with ice.
Okay. Yeah.
So I really love the Slayer-like leads on Beneath the Dismal Tides. They really add like a triumphant feel to that track. Have you heard your leads get compared to bands like Slayer, and how do you feel about it?
Again, you have really, really, really nailed it. It's always it's kind of gives goosebumps when someone has actually listened to the music you make and really gets it and finds the nuances. It's really, really like my imaginary hat off to you guys. Like you have really done your job, so to say. But yeah, the Beneath the Dismal Tides, it's a song written by Alexi, who is probably one of the biggest Metallica and Slayer fan guys there ever is. So I'm pretty sure it was very he well, I'm not pretty, I know it was like his influences are there, so he wanted to kind of give it that certain touch. And sometimes I don't really. I think death thrash is very hard genre to be really good at or interesting to me. But when it's just good example like that Slayer riff there, or sort of Slayer like riff, I would say. But like it gives that certain kind of a break in the song from all the death metaliness and stuff like that. So it's really cool, like cool little thing amidst the song that you're like, hey, what's now happening? And kind of how songs should be like. They should awaken you from like, and then you should like remember these things. And it's like, yeah, it's very certainly something that was put there on purpose, and I think it works really well in creating moving the song forward.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
really does.
It for me, you know, I think that Spotify they try to make it easy for you to find music, but I think they actually make it very difficult for you. So I have a set of albums on my phone that are just MP3s. So they're kind of like my go-tos, right? Well, when I finished your review and I realized I had compared you to Merciful Fate and Slayer, I moved Sepulchral Curse to the mainstay on the phone. Like I was like, no, I'm not fucking around with Spotify to try to find these guys. I want it to be like 2 clicks and I'm there, in the
Oh,
car or whatever. So that so that was
fucking nice.
like I wrote the review and I looked at it and I was like Slayer and Merciful Fate in the same review. All right, this is a very special album. So let's and it doesn't
That's
happen all the
also
time. Like I said, we're reviewing music like every, multiple times a month. A lot of the
yeah.
bands just stay on Spotify, but you guys were one of the rare ones where I was like, wow, that's two very important bands right there. So
Hooray.
let's upgrade.
Yeah, and the Merciful Fate is also really good because it's our other guitarist Jaakko is a really big King Diamond and Merciful Fate fan, so it was again really spot on.
Yeah, yeah. So,
That's
well,
awesome.
speaking of which, we play a game on the show, so I think you'll like it. The game is called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay, so here's how it works. Okay, so I have 5 band names in front of me on this envelope, right? I'm going to see if you can guess which one of these is a fake, which one of these is not a real band. Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. So we went with a cosmic theme this week. So Cosmic Jaguar, Cosmic Monarch, Cosmic Abomination, Cosmic Dust, and Cosmic Heresy. So try to guess of those. I'll run through one more time. Cosmic Jaguar, Cosmic Monarch, Cosmic Abomination, Cosmic Dust, and Cosmic Heresy. Which one of those sounds fake to you?
Fake. Cosmic Abomination sounds fake.
Okay. I know they're real. They are death metal from Virginia. They have one
Ah,
EP, but they're real. So that leaves Cosmic Jaguar, Cosmic Monarch, Cosmic Dust, and Cosmic Heresy.
Cosmic Jaguar is. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a real name, real band because it's a bit silly if you ask me. Well, Cosmic Monarch sounds like a stoner band, and I know you guys have them abundance in United States, so I think that's gonna be. I would say Cosmic Heresy sounds like it sounds like an Italian black metal band. So, what was the second last?
Cosmic Dust.
I said Cosmic Dust.
Very good. That is the fake one. And very, very good that you knew that Cosmic Heresy is Italian because they're Italian death metal. So very
Oh,
good. Yeah. So I was pretty good. Most people, we had John from Incantation on. He never got it. I think we did like 3 or 4 rounds. He never got it. So
good. I guess someone gets it on first too.
yeah, yeah. Well, Finland people are very, very passionate about their metal up there. I expected. So,
Oh, good that I'm on the winning end of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you also contributed some guest vocals to the Spanish band I'm Gonna Kill It, or Narina Fugus. How did that collaboration come about?
Uh, yeah, hold on, I need to think about it. Yeah, sometime along the road we kind of started talking. I don't remember when or where, but the singer Eduai we were. I really fucking can't remember when I met. I've never met him, but we started talking about something. I think it was like when they on Europhagus when released their really early material. For some reason, we kind of talked because I was back then. I was still in Solotus only, if I remember correctly, and he was both our Death Doom bands, and I think we had some sort of talk about maybe doing something together. And they released when Sepulchral Curse was around, they released something through Transcending Obscurity. I think it was their second album, something. So we kind of started talking again. Then, and I don't know, he just out of the blue wanted me to do some vocals for them, and I always like to do some quest vocals. It's really cool, and like it's really cool to do something different and be part of someone else's vision. I really like it, and I like to talk to people and get to know new people. So it has been I've been kind of lucky to have had many people ask me to do some quest vocals, and that was one of those cool moments. But there was no, I don't know. They just, I guess they like my stuff, and we have a bit of a different kind of style between me and him. So it is maybe a bit boring story, but
No, I love the name Anerophagus. It sounds like something that you have to have removed. Like they found an Anerophagus on his spinal cord and had to remove it.
yeah, it sounds like that.
It's a cool name, yeah.
Or like one of the ancient dinosaur names.
Yes,
Yeah,
the fact that it could be either one of those things, that means it's definitely a great name. Yeah. So yeah.
And it's it can be a bit harder to pronounce than Sepulchral Curse. So
The band names sometimes are so tricky. I was reviewing this Irish band this week, and I thought, and it's really sad because I'm of Irish descent. I'm like, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I had to go on Instagram and ask him.
What's the name of the band?
It's pronounced Cruisecroft, but I never would have got it. I never would have got it.
Yeah, sometimes when I'm putting the show together, I'll have to give her a warning. I'll be like, all right, we've got one from Japan, one from Finland, and one from Ireland, and I don't know how to pronounce any of their names, so it's going to be a rough ride this week. That's the way it is sometimes.
I'm pretty sure we have some really tricky names here in Finland when they happen.
Well, yeah.
Or like
And there's
Finnish
no way to really
names.
verify it unless you do like Stace did on Instagram and ask, how do you pronounce your name? Most weeks we just get it wrong.
But that's nice. Walking the extra mile when you actually, hey, how do you pronounce the name? That's
Try
pretty cool.
Try to, yeah.
Are you Carrie or Kari?
Well, in Finland it's pronounced Kari.
See?
Okay. Yeah.
It's I have in Finland my name is like it's really really old man's name in Finland, but I think it's a female name in every other country but Finland.
Okay.
That's like Stacy. It could go either way. It could be a female or a male.
That's true.
Depends.
There's more and more of
It has
that.
to be the spelling, but people don't do it right anyway.
Yeah, that's right. No.
So it looks like you guys are set to headline in Berlin in May. That sounds super great. Are you thinking about outfits, set list, makeup?
Well, we luckily no makeup, but it's part of this 4-day tour we're gonna do with Dead Chasm, the Italian death doom band, really fucking good band, and it's last gig of the 4-day tour, so that's something really looking forward to. The rest of the dates are not yet announced, so better not to talk about them yet because I don't know when they're announced. But no, the second last day is in Czech. There's the Nice to Eat You Death Fest where we are playing, and they had really cool lineup like Hate and there was some Feral and really cool stuff there too. So it's like that festival on Friday, and then Saturday we'll be playing in Berlin. And it's gonna be cool. I think when we were younger, we were kind of like talking like, "Hey, what band shirts are you gonna wear?" So we didn't look like idiots with everyone having the same band shirt. But I don't know. Nowadays we haven't even been asking about that anymore. But when you were younger, it was very important to have some sort of coordination what shirt to wear. But set list we have already chosen, and it's gonna be cool. I always love to play abroad. It's always a blast to meet new people and see new places. So definitely looking forward to it.
I'm a year older than him, so I used to pick him up to drive him to high school. And one day he came out and we were wearing the same Anthrax shirt. I'm like, you have to go change.
Yeah, one of us had to change that day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't be that lame.
No. Oh, and speaking of the makeup thing, I'm finishing up uh what's it? Gary Holt's book. Gary Holt just put out a
Mm.
book on the history of Exodus and his time in Slayer and everything. And it's one of those books, it's so good that I'm getting to the last chapter and I'm getting kind of sad because I know I'm going to be done it soon, you know?
Yeah.
But he talks about like I think it was like 84 when Slayer first came up to Oakland to play with Exodus. And I think it was Paul
Mm.
Bailoff who said, "You got to get rid of that makeup. You guys look like idiots." And they did. Like it was either him or Bailoff. I can't remember, but somebody in Exodus told them no makeup. You gotta, that doesn't fly.
Yeah, I understand for
Show no
some.
mercy. They got the eyeliner, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like for certain kind of styles, it's cool when you go kind of do something extra for the
Yeah.
live when the music kind of leans into it. When you can have certain kind of atmospheric whatnot, or you need to have some sort of not maybe shock value, but something. But
Yeah.
I've never been in that kind of band, so it's cool for me. I like to just go on stage and do our thing, and I like the kind of the certain down to earth aspect
Yeah.
of everything. Of course, now that we have had a bit of a bigger venues and festivals to play, now we have had like side banners and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
understand it looks good when the stage is a lot bigger, so it looks more finished. And they are pretty badass looking. So I guess
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
you need to do certain things for the show because it's more like a enjoyment for everyone when it's like a bit more thought through.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll send her links to magazine articles or um uh these websites. Yeah, where I'll say, look, every single band has a costume, every single band has a gimmick, you know, this week.
Yeah,
But it's great when we interview bands from like Finland or especially Latin America, because they don't have any of that shit down there. It is just bullet belts and that's it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
That's a very American European thing now that everybody's got to have a costume or whatever, you know.
yeah. And I understand in certain bands it looks cool. Like I would say my number one favorite band at the moment is Sulfur, and they have like this sea, like kind of like ropes or something like that on their like more like this sea touch because they're like Lovecrafty and stuff, and I think that
Lovecraft,
looks really
yeah. Yeah,
fucking
I love
cool.
them. Yeah, they're a great band.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool. The look is really fucking cool on them,
Yeah.
and that's a good example how certain kind of outfit works live because it works so well and leans so well into the music. But then there's I don't know some bands that just go over the top for
I
no
know.
point.
Well, we
Like
went and saw Wolves in the Throne Room, and they kind of have an image thing, but it's done so well. I remember I said to Stace, I said I could bump into one of them on the way to the men's room, and I wouldn't know
It
it
just
was
gets
me.
lit. You can't see faces at all.
Yeah, I mean it's
No makeup, you
they
just can't see
they've
them.
got it down really well. So
The incense smoke and the no lighting,
there's
it's
a
like.
sense of anonymity. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
So in the past, you've done a cover of Towards the Shrouded Infinity by Demigod. Do you ever incorporate covers when you play live? And kind of what factors influence when you pick a song to cover?
yeah, the story behind that Demigod song is we were actually drinking at my home. I didn't think we have some sort of a band meeting, and we were thinking like what songs would be on this one EP, the Deathbed Sessions, and we were thinking like we would really like to pay tribute to Finnish death metal, and we were wondering like what would be a good song to play, and it happened that back then we shared rehearsal room with one guy who used to play in Demigod, and uh, when we were really drunk, we happened to listen to the song, and we're like, "Hey, fuck, this is something like could sound like Sepulchral Curse," and then I sent message to the guy, and he was like, "Yeah, go on and do the cover," and that was like, it was just like we had three songs, but we wanted the fourth song, and we wanted to like do a cover song, so it was kind of decision on that, like what band would be cool to play, and not many bands do covers from Demilich. So I mean Demigod. So it was
Yeah.
pretty
That's okay,
cool.
Demlik too. And
Yeah, well, yeah,
I love all that stuff. I love the Finnish
yeah.
death metal.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's
bit
great.
more complicated to play though.
Well, just the titles of Demlik, like it's
Yeah,
like a paragraph, you know?
yeah. But yeah, we have played some covers. Yeah, back in the day, we had like weird covers too, like some I don't even some hardcore band we once covered, like earlier.
Mhm.
We covered Niflheim once.
Okay.
Uh, I think some time ago we kind of extempore covered Autopsies in the Grip of Winter live because we rehearsed it for actually Neela's wedding, like bachelor party thing. Like we rehearsed
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
But well, yeah, we don't do that many covers. We were thinking about doing like Cannibal Corpse's Icon Blood like as a surprise for our set, but then we decided because we have so many own songs, we don't really want to
Yeah.
Yeah.
spend a set list on other people's songs, even though it's
Yeah.
cool. But
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I find that I if I listen to Swedish stuff, like I can listen to Grave and Entombed and Nihilist and all for a while, but I tend to get tired of it after a while, but I never get tired of the Finnish death metal. Like I could just
Yeah.
listen to it like all
True.
the time. You'd have to
yeah,
take the
and
demigod away from me. You know, I would never stop, you
yeah,
know.
and it's also like nothing wrong with Swedish death metal, but they are all kind of they all have that very
That
similar
same
sound.
sound. Yeah, yeah.
But
Totally.
when you look at the Finnish death metal, like almost none of the bands sound like each other. Like
That's right.
Demilich, Demigod,
Yeah.
Rippikouluxus, but they all sound completely different. So, but still they have that certain kind of weirdness, I would say, or that
Yeah.
something darker or heavier. But
Yeah,
they all
totally.
sound so different.
Yeah, totally.
So, hypothetically speaking, if gun to your head, if someone said you had to like do a pop song and make it yours, would you do like the Taylor Swift song or Sabrina Carpenter or maybe Lady Gaga?
um, well, of course, there's a abundance of really cool pop songs too. I really like there's a lot of Finnish pop bands that I like too, but uh does hmm, hard question. I remember we talked about some pop song actually, like which would be cool to cover, but for the life of me I can't remember it now what it was. But at some point we had some discussion of doing Metallica Saint Anger cover just for the
Oh,
laughs.
That
wow.
would be good.
But
It's very
but
bold. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but it was but well, I guess it kind of can be compared to pop music. That's one album.
That's as close as it got, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
but
was
if
the
there was
band that you reviewed that did the Duran Duran cover? Who was it?
The
Hooded
Hooded
Menace.
Menace.
Hooded
Yeah,
Menace. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I That wasn't my favorite song on that album. I kind of glossed over it. I was like, yeah, no, Duran Duran. I
Well, the fact that they did it was one thing, but the fact that they let off with that, I was kind of like, okay, yeah,
I
that was
don't
bizarre.
I don't really like the when metal bands do like metal covers of pop songs. I always think
Right.
it's really fucking lame. I don't really like it because at least in Finland they always seem to do it for like that quick media attention. I think it's almost always like some Rihanna's umbrella and here's the metal
Yeah, like a
version of it. And
Spotify thing or
yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah,
no, I
exactly.
agree.
It always
Yeah.
feels to me like that. I don't think that Hooded Menace cover was something like that. I'm pretty sure like Lasse was really into it and it was their good idea to do it. I don't doubt that at all. But
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah,
really liked the
I'm
rest
sorry.
of that album, so I think I just ignored it during my review.
Yeah.
I think it was a good decision. But pop song, shit, I don't know. I would say on top of my head, it's a Finnish pop rock band called Lasten Hautausmaa. I would say something from them. It's a very like sad and melancholic indie pop rock band, but I'm pretty sure a band called Lasten Hautausmaa does not say anything to you guys. So
Yeah.
let's
I
go
was
with
just
that.
telling someone that my daughter wanted me to make her a playlist for like all kind of I guess it was like indie rock that was popular when we were growing up. And the
Yeah.
problem was after I did it, I couldn't get these like Indigo Girls songs. I couldn't get them out of my head. So I had to listen to Neurosis for like 5 hours to purge it.
Delete your brain.
Yeah, I had to kind of retrain my brain to get rid of all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Well, thank you for doing this. This was great.
hopefully we'll get you over here in the States. Now, hopefully things will ease up with visas and crap
Yeah,
like
get you
that.
guys on MDF or something.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Oh, it would be my like one thing from my bucket list would be to play over there. I really want to do that, but I heard nowadays it's a bit complicated, so let's wait a bit.
Yeah,
Maybe after the fourth album we can come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think things will
Yeah,
be better in about 4 years.
Keep
Right?
doing what you're doing. This was one of, like I said, this was
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite albums of last year. So you guys are definitely doing something right for sure. So
Yeah, it's funny. I've been listening to it kind of to and from work, and the other morning maybe it was too cold. My Bluetooth wasn't working, and I just had you playing on my phone because my stupid Bluetooth wouldn't connect in my car. I pull into the garage at work and it kicks in. I scared the hell out of whoever was getting next to the car next to me because I had the volume all the way up, and you guys kicked in and she went. I'm like, sorry, I know it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
Technology.
That's the thing I do.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm enjoying this music. You need to be enjoying it too.
That's right. Just sharing it with you. You don't know you're gonna love it, but you're gonna love
That's
it.
right. That's right.
I know you will like it.
Oh, thank you again. And
Hopefully we'll catch you out there on the road
it'll
someday.
it'll be up. We have a show coming up today, and then in 2 weeks this interview will go up. So we'll let you know when it's like up on the internet. So.
I'll share it everyone, and it's been an utmost pleasure. It was really fucking nice talking with you guys.
Yeah,
Really
yeah,
enjoyed
same.
this.
Totally, yeah.
And thank you for this album and thank all your bandmates. It's meant a
Yeah,
lot to us.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say hi to the guys from Demolic for me when you get a chance.
I will.
The sounds of decay!
Isn't that one movie or
She is not funny at all.
one of them?
Anyway, okay. Sounds of Decay 1.
MØL Dreamcrusher. Mole is pronounced roughly like mole, rhymes with dull. Although there's nothing remotely dull about this Danish five-piece. You see, musically, Dreamcrusher thrives on contrast. 1 minute you're drifting through ethereal shoegaze clouds, the next your head's bobbing to jangly alt-rock hooks before blast beats rain down and an acrid vocal scorches your nose hairs.
The band has mastered that bait and switch where everything sounds soft and pretty right up until it doesn't. Like petting a fluffy cat, getting bit, and then 10 minutes later it comes back demanding more scritches. And somehow you say yes. This is a day in the life for us, yes. Across 10 tightly packed tracks, mostly in that efficient 3 to 5 minute strike zone, plus a 48-second instrumental palette cleanser, the band cram a surprising amount of mood colors that flow as fluidly as a lava lamp. It's the hauntingly pretty, colliding with the heartbreakingly powerful, often in the same song, occasionally tossed together like someone put many musical styles into a blender. Dream, as the opening track, sets this Midsummer Night's Tale state. It opens in a full atmospheric mode, a synthesizer tone undulating like a glowing orb, warm, shimmering, brightening, dimming, shifting frequency like an orchestra's warming up. Nikolai Bussy's jangly guitar slides in next and wouldn't stand out of place on an outfield record. Hey, whatever happened to the outfield anyway? Is this guy still around? He's still making music somewhere?
Come at us in the comments.
Yeah. Was it the video with all the TV sets? What was that? All the Love in the World or something?
All the love in the world. Josie's on a vacation. Far
Yeah,
away.
I don't remember that video, but I do remember the TV one. Anyway, the guitar of Sigurd Kalet joining in has a calypso bell shimmer to it.
Ken Lund Kleise's drums start with a seemingly random stick raps. Then the kick drum swells in and the plot thickens. A feedback squall warning as soon Kim Song Sternkoff screeches and rasps like a pissed off shadow soul specter. From there, the track keeps stacking up layers, opening up more volume channels. As the drums tighten up like a telegraph, getting urgently typed over that foil of the smooth jazz bubbly guitar, now a melodic clean vocal oozes out, flowing like drawn butter. The guitars crunch up and find the tension now, waves of distortion crashing over agitated drums. Soon all drops and that orb glow returns, but it's not as soothing and seems like more of an alarm. Another standout is Mimic, which wastes zero time. It kicks off with a drum trip in, and immediately Kim's song Stemcough storms in with that astringent growl. Holger Frost's bass adds a deep, pulsing throb underneath, while Kleise's drumming hits that "we're late" and sprinting upstairs urgent tempo.
Sounds like one of our cats.
The guitars start climbing and sliding in these tritonal leaning shifts, all twitchy tremolo movement, like they're scaling a rope in gym class. Then suddenly everything drops into low gear, slower repeated riff strikes bouncing along like a kickball at recess before the shakes resume again.
Do they still have you climb the rope in gym class? I doubt they do.
Probably not. It's probably a liability these
Tell you
days.
what, those thin mats, they didn't give me any feeling of security.
They probably have to have crash pads these days, like
And make sure it's the rope where, like, if you slide down it, your hands catch fire
Yes.
from the friction. Anyway, sorry. And aside, let's play a clip.
This is Mimic.
Mid-track, there's an interlude of soft-hued acoustic guitar strums, sodden and fluid that bleed out like a plucked harp. Soon a guitar solo's in, a capricious set of notes. Kleis brings up the noise and the cannonry with blast beats as the guitars both tremble and scream. Drums settle into that initial hurry-up mode as Kim's song Stamkopf continues to rant like a basilisk. Tremolos make a brief resurgence before being overtaken by a drum solo that ticks off quicker than a stopwatch and continues to accelerate until the end of the ride cymbal crash. A touch of whiplash included at no extra charge.
I also really enjoyed Smo for Lees, which roughly translates to small shipwrecks. Honestly, that title alone pretty sums up how this winter's been feeling in Baltimore. It jumps straight out of the alley, with Stenkoff snarling from note 0, so close you can practically feel that blast furnace breath croak hissing at you. His shifts between Danish and English feel completely natural, just another fluid feature of the band. The bass of Holger Frost is a low-end bleat, tangling with the tumbling guitar riffs that roll unchecked. This style trades with shifting into segments of 90s alt-rock light jangles over occasional kick drum patter. Feels very Goo Goo Dolls adjacent. Stemkoff even slips into fully clean vocals here, smooth and flowing like water over glass, before snapping right back into those troll snarl growls. Guitar riffs bunching up and tangle with the drums of Kleis.
He rattle snare pops that snap like green firewood, and a kick drum that is a steady thud of a shoe in a dryer set to high. What really sells the track is how effortlessly they toggle between these moods, heavy to dreamy, menace to melody, like flipping a switch nobody else can see. Near the end, everything warps slightly, almost like shutting off a turntable while it's still spinning. The pitch sagging before the heavy side roughs things up one last time. Then it all dissolves into this sustained live wire hum. My favorite track here is Crush. It opens with Kleis's drum tick doing the stuttering pulse that locks perfectly with the choppy, distorted guitar riffs from Boosie and Kalit. The tension is palpable. Sturmkopf returns with a clean vocal, thick and honey-tinged sweet, before morphing into the angry troll under the bridge again. The band play beautifully with those contrasts. There's a near fuzzed-out phase after one particularly feral yowl, then a quick pivot back to his softer vocals, while the drums reclaim the tension. A small passage of plaintive guitar notes follows, delicate enough to feel like snowflakes, and honestly, the whole track becomes a masterclass in light versus dark. We don't want any snowflakes. I just want to say that.
No, this is not asking for them.
It's just a figure of speech. Anyway.
We didn't have snowflakes, we had ice.
Mhm.
When the harsher vocals creep back in, the guitars often soften instead, almost orchestral in their size. Mid-track brings a breathy guitar solo that stretches out lazily over quick snare strikes, a melody that later gets flanked by crunchy riffs. That sweet and salty combination hits just right, with Stemkoff continues his snarled commentary overhead. Suddenly, all drops but a woodblock like a tap, snapping out bars like a metronome before launching back into all those layers once again. Stemkoff lets out a scream intense enough to straighten curly hair. By track's end, that shimmery guitar line reemerges as Kleiss violently mugs his kit. Finally, it collapses in a burble. The name fits too. MØL literally translate to moth in Danish, which honestly feels perfect. Their music Their music hovers between light and dark like some nocturnal winged omen, equal parts beauty and quiet unease. Moths have long carried that spiritual messenger reputation, symbols of change, sometimes even harbingers of doom. Basically, that Mothman prophecy sense that something's about to go sideways.
That duality, delicate wings paired with creeping foreboding, runs straight through Dreamcrusher. Never settling comfortably in either space. The band described themselves on Bandcamp as a crushing void, but while the music is absolutely hits heavy, it doesn't feel empty. If anything, it lands as something oddly resilient. Heavy music that still believes in possibility, even when the dream gets denied rather than destroyed. And there is never a dull moment to be had. So let's hear a little of Crush.
We shake and shudder. You make me twitch the same. Did you recover? Or do you want to feel this way? Praise and then smile. Now drink up the vile pill.
Okay, Sounds of Decay 2 is the new album from Moonchapel, three-faced Trinity for a two-faced existence. There aren't many situations in life where we try to make something less polished. Think about it. I mean, you're not going to be reviewing your speech for the stockholders and decide this thing needs fewer fancy words, a couple of F-bombs, and a space for me to let out a big belch in the middle. No. You're not going to redesign your kitchen by taking out the white oak and smart refrigerators and replacing them with paneling and electric skillets. Speaking of which, we had an electric can opener when I was growing up. That thing sounded like a 747 warming up. It was like not worth it at all to open the can. Anyway, the point is making something more raw and rough hewn is just not a talent most people talk about. I mean, it's like my Nissan's engine is running too smoothly. It's irritating me. Let's rip out the shocks and let some air out of the tires.
Kyle Schumann knows about the raw and rough hewn. The Maryland-based musician has been one of extreme metal's most prolific artists these past few years, cranking out something like 19 releases, mostly demos, for his black metal project Embers of Ouroboros. And now he's dropped his third full length in the space of a year with his black and death metal project Moonchapel. The cleverly titled Three-Faced Trinity for a Two-Faced World is 8 caustic songs, most in the 3 to 5 minute range. To my ears, this one sounds even more primitive and evil than last year's Famine Weaponized, an album that I would describe as a cross between Beharit demos and driving over 5 miles of speed bumps. This one actually sounds like he's improving his craft, more primal, more chaotic, and more savage than ever before. From the room-clearing opener, it's obvious that zero trend hopping or image chasing is on the agenda for this artist. Ominous and omniscient is absolutely filthy. Endless rattling snare blast, a thick, acrid riff tone, and leonine gurgles are the order of the day. Tempo shift with zero warning whatsoever, from mid-tempo dirges to speeding gallops to slow percussive giddy-ups. I can actually imagine thoughts like, that roll sounds too crisp, or that vocal sounds too human. Let's hear a little music for your teenage daughter's next birthday party. Let's play a clip. This is Ominous and Omniscient.
Garden of Shadows, this harrowing, kicks off with subsonic Hellhammer adjacent mid-tempo riff interlaced with a screeching teapot whistle synth tone before erupting into a brutal blast of speeding black metal punishment. The drum patterns have a restless ADHD vibe of constant slight changes, but when Schumann comes back to that original Tom Warrior riff around the 4-minute mark, it will put a smile on your corpse-painted face. Finally, eschatos, which is a Greek word meaning last, final, furthest, according to Google AI, which caution may be wrong. They always say that. Anyway, it's a track that wastes no time, bounding from the speakers with ridiculous rattling snare abuse and dirge-like riffing. As the song progresses, it really does sound like Schumann is trying to destroy his drum kit rather than play it, all the while frosting the proceedings with truly evil-sounding howls and roars. Like the rest of the album, the combination of percussive restlessness and 1,000 layers of distorted guitar are a lot more addictive than they should be. So we've been such fans of HGPD artists and buying up their discs and swag that the word conflict of interest was recently suggested by a YouTube commentator. My reply was, "Mom, that's ridiculous. Please get the gravy stain out of my orange polo. Thanks." Suffice to say, for fans of any of the bands mentioned in this review, you need to get your ass over to the HGPD Bandcamp page and grab some of the good stuff. I mean, he's got trucker hats at this point. It's totally off the rails. So till next time, and in the meantime, if you see a hallway painted with taupe, just think about how much better it would look with the words "perish in flame" spray painted across it. Let's hear a little of eschatos. Okay, Sounds of Decay 3 is the new album from Urne, Setting Fire to the Sky. As most of you know, we've been fans of the UK trio Urne for years now. We reviewed their last record, A Feast on Sorrow, back in 2023, and had a lively interview with vocalist and bassist Joe Nally as well. All of us agreed that their label of sludge or stoner metal doesn't make any sense, looking at you, Metal Archives, even when Joe explained to us that it's because of their former band that was in that style called Hang the Bastard. No, this music sounds more like progressive thrash with touches of metalcore at the edges. Think of an enlightened version of Nevermore. Think Megadeth with Marty Friedman. Think Silent Civilian. And as great as the last album was, this one, produced by UK engineer Justin Hill, is better. Much better. In fact, it's so good that it transformed me back into a 15-year-old thrash kid. Now, I didn't really mind at first. It was much easier shopping for white high tops and Voivod shirts using the internet instead of riding my bike to the mall or ordering through the mail. I was kind of bummed that both Radio Shack and Aladdin's Castle had gone out of business, but then I found out that Roseanne and the Wonder Years had been canceled, so it sort of made up for it. After my third day of napping, munching on pizza, and playing the guitar all day, I got this weird phone call. It turns out I actually have a job, and they expect me to go like every day or something. Beat, right? I guess I should just be grateful that my complexion did clear up. But man, I have been craving a cold can of Slice like you wouldn't believe this week.
At any rate, Urne's Setting Fire to the Sky just dropped about a week ago, made up of 9 songs with runtimes all over the map, from 4-minute scorchers to 10-minute epics. Everything I liked about the band sounds like it's been polished, amplified, and injected with adrenaline. I love the drumming style of James Cook on the last record, very Nick Menza adjacent, but on this record, each snare hit strikes like a punch in the face. Angus Neera's playing on the album is nothing short of a virtuosic riff bonanza. Every song is packed with a multitude of whip-smart tempo changes and thrilling lyrical solos, optimized with harmonies, which are going to sound great live as they've recently recruited second guitarist Curtis Bagley, making them an official 4-piece. Of course, we'd be remiss not to mention the impressive vocal spectrum of singer and bassist Joe Nally. His clean vocals on this album will put a lump in your throat, while his husky barks will make you want to bruise your own forehead. I haven't been able to read all of the album lyrics yet, but the ones I've seen seem much more aligned with determination, with striving, with pushing forward than death and dying. Optimism core? Let's hear a little of this beast and decide for ourselves. Let's play a clip, Be Not Dismayed.
Be Not Dismayed is the name of the clip. We're not telling you to be not dismayed. Just wanted to make that clear. See what I mean about the drums, the grooves, and that fucking voice? It's awesome. Be not dismayed. Carry this torch forward. No fear when the lights go out. You will find a decent fruit juice-based soda. All right, I added that last part, but you get the idea. You get the idea.
The near 7-minute title track is worth discussing, definitely packed with highlights, like that moment when Cook settles into that double time roll pattern and the first clean vocals kind of swell into focus. It's chill bump city for sure. To feel the color, the spoken word, anger, and truth. Or around the 4-minute mark when Cook takes off on a full thrash charge, and Angus pushes forward with a spectacular crunching gallop and a sparkling lead full of dives and exotic runs. I backed it up so many times my Walkman's batteries had to be replaced.
I could just go on, but I think my parents will be home soon. So I'll just mention one more. Maybe my favorite, The Spirit Alive. Again, alive, full of vigor, hope, and optimism. As soon as that first main riff hits, you are goner, people. It's great. My air guitar has gotten quite a workout because of this one. And when that chorus hits and Joe screams out that refrain, and then there's that little sly pause in the drums, that is mastery of your craft, my friends. The engineer did an outstanding job layering the vocals on this one, and Angus's lead is a throwback to a time when guitarists created a beginning, a middle, and an end for maximum tug at the heartstrings for a solo.
At any rate, there aren't many albums that I enjoy so much I start scanning Bandcamp for a combo pack. But in the case of this album, I am convinced the shirts and discs are going to be completely wiped out in the next couple of months as more people are turned on to this outstanding band and record. Could there be another interview in the cards for Urne in a future episode? You bet your sharper image catalog we're gonna try. Let's play a clip, The Spirit Alive.
Across the line, the place between the fingers of this dying man. Breath held into make no sound. Body engaged to pray to the future. Somewhere in the silence, a drenched in solace, there's a dream that will never subside.
Yeah, I was driving around the other day. I was getting my lunch, and I was so excited about the material for this week. And I was like, yes, the history of taxation. And then I thought to myself, is our humor a little too sophisticated for some people? Maybe we should just do jokes about eating bananas or something, I don't know. Anyway.
I don't think that's very funny either. Unless you want to count Mario Kart jokes. There's bananas.
I don't know.
This banana feels
I
really slippery.
don't know what it is, but that's the topics that we pick. When you just read them, you say like that's going to be like watching paint dry, but then the magic happens, So
Always.
what was it a couple weeks ago? You come with the cruelty of Victorian clothes for women, like that turned into a hilarious bit, and on the surface you'd be like, that's funny, You had an obnoxious trivia question about a plague that was funny. I
Yeah.
mean, look at that.
Plague jokes. They're going to be big.
Plague jokes. That's right.
And-
They're going to slay.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And
So-
also, never accept wet fabric from London. Just so.
I knew that was it because that's so weird. Like everything else seemed plausible. That did not.
But King Charles II did flee London, but just not there.
This has been the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. Special thanks to Kari from Sepulchral Curse for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme by Gustav Fjord of Defleshed. Sounds of Decay theme by Steve Rathbone of Lair of the Minotaur. Sounds of Decay bands featured this week: MØL, Moonchapel, and Urne. All content 2026, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast.
Yes, Miss Moneypenny. I was just, finishing a little Danish or Polish or something.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.